Got a new one to show you from Bestechman, Bestech's budget brand. And in fact, this thing is so new, just dropped today. This is the Cicada's wing. On Bestechman's website, it doesn't specify like the blade shape, so what do you think we should call it? Modified sheep's foot, reverse tanto, cleaver. Honestly, I think any of those would probably work. Wow, they really fit a lot of blade in this handle. It's 3.15 inches long, which good, medium size. That's, it's pretty tall. I like the shape. It's also nice and thin, so it's a slicer at 2.3 millimeters, which is right there with the Bug Out and Delica. Now, I can tell you for sure that this is the only knife I have with a red blade. When I first saw pictures of it, I was like, I don't know. But you know what? I kind of like it. I really do, because there's a lot of good stuff going on here that also helps tie it all together. If it's not your thing, hey, I get it. But don't worry, you do get some choices. And yeah, there is one with a black finish. Now, my 20-year-old son and I, we were looking at all the different versions together online, and he saw the one with the pink blade and was like, ooh, that looks cool. And you know what? He's way more picky about knives than I am. We should probably see how well this finish is going to hold up, after cutting some cardboard. Whoa! Holy cow. Are you seeing how effortless that is? All right, let's check out the blade. All right, there it is. Let's get it in the light. How about the other side? Now, I know I only did a couple passes, but you don't want to sit here and watch me cutting up cardboard for like a half hour, do you? Let me just wipe, see if some of that stuff comes off. I think it will. Actually, I'm pretty darn sure it will. Oh my gosh, yeah. That's like Teflon, man. I always appreciate a good blade to handle ratio, and this knife has it. At about 4 inches of some black G10 scales. I know it's a minor thing, but I love that all the hardware is also black. I mean, even the crossbar. I like the matte finish on the captured pivot and pocket clip, so there's no shine to it. I wish they would have included the body screws in that, but I'm just being nitpicky now. It's also really thin, to the tune of 0.41 inches compared to 0.40 of the Bug Out. But check this out. Yeah, there's absolutely zero flex. And that is without liners inside, just some partial ones to go ahead and support the crossbar lock and the pivot. Normally on scales this thin, you don't expect to see any internal skeletonization, but man, was I wrong. I mean, look at all that material they milled out, in an effort to lighten the load. Both scales, and man, did they do a great job, because this thing weighs in just over 2 ounces. As long as we're talking about stuff that I wasn't expecting, the handle here, crazy comfortable. Every edge on this thing has been rounded. I could not find a single sharp area on it. I mean, now that is some attention to detail. It's got a ball bearing pivot, so the action was just awesome. Like right out of the box. I didn't have to adjust the thing. The Omega spring tension is right. It's right where I like it. Not too weak, and I can still operate it. Look at that. With just my thumb. That is great. And better yet, there is no play in any direction. And I'm telling you, yeah, I am really wrenching on this thing. And mine, look at that. Mine came from the factory. That's perfect centering. Nice. Closed and in your pocket. It's about as wide as a Vosteed Acorn. And if you don't have one of those, that's gonna be wider than a Bug Out, but more narrow than Delica. They gave this a nice 2-position deep carry pocket clip that is, yeah, you can see it's recessed into the G10. I wouldn't mind seeing some flat screws here instead of domed, but not a deal breaker. One thing that might be for some, is the 10CR15 blade steel. Now, I don't have a problem with it on, $50 knife like this, but I can tell you that it's approaching my cutoff point, as far as like how much I would pay for a knife with this steel, but that's just my own like self-created guideline, which that's going to vary depending on the person. It's not a standard thing, where there's a chart that shows, okay, you should only pay this much for this type of steel. No, nothing like that. I just go by price of previous knives with similar features and materials. Probably the same thing you do. Based on that, we know that Bestechman has the ability to sell a crossbar lock with 14C, 28N steel, and G10 scales for $52 because of their knife here, the Ronin. Granted, it doesn't have a 2-position pocket clip, and it's nowhere near as refined as the Cicada's wing. I mean, it's kind of chunky. Knives like the Vosteed Raccoon and Mini Nightshade in 14C 28N are both amazing values at $59, which that's one of the reasons why I love those guys. Another good comparison is the Migron Moyarl at $60. It's another one that comes close to being a good deal, but not as close as Vosteed though. I'm going to tell you right now, the best deal I've ever found on a knife in 14C 28N Sandvik steel is this Citivian ST 144. $25. I know, but it's a liner lock. So, should you buy the Cicada's wing? Yeah, I would. I mean, I had a lot of fun with this knife. I mean, it cuts well. It is fun to fidget. This thing is easy to carry. It looks good. It tastes good, smells good, and it definitely stands out in a crowd. I do think there should be a version with a satin or stonewash blade because without it, you're excluding a large demographic right off the bat. I mean, I would think you'd want to appeal to as many people as possible, right? Fish with as many fishing poles as you can. I tell you what, though, if they ever slapped on like a, I don't know, S35VN blade, oh yeah, I'd pay extra for that because the foundation here is good. It's got good bones. On your screen is going to be a video that I personally picked out for you to go ahead and watch next. And hey, if you haven't already, consider subscribing. My name is Jay, and I just do knife reviews that get right to the point. See ya.